Spider-Man, wake up! Go! I've got this.
So ever since Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has shown us the reveal for the new suits for Miles and Peter respectively, they've both been getting a lot of hate. Granted, the Peter suit, aka the Anti-Venom suit, hasn't been getting as much hate as the Miles suit, but I don't think the Miles suit deserves that much hate either. It's just the whole Adidas thing isn't really cool. But let's not make this about that. We're gonna be talking about why does everyone hate this suit? I personally think, and I'm gonna be breaking down quite a few things about this suit to begin with, but I personally think that this suit doesn't deserve as much hate as we've really seen. But to really begin talking about why, I've got to go back to the very start about the whole anti-venom thing, right? We got to go to the comics. So the history of this suit is when Eddie Brock separated from the Venom symbiote, he had bits and pieces of it left in his body, you know, in his blood. And later, when he suffered from cancer, he started working as a volunteer in the Feast Center. And then Martin, you know, Mr. Negative, found him and used these powers to cure his cancer. But when he did that, Lee accidentally infused the remnants of the symbiote in Eddie's blood with his power and ended up fusing it to his white blood cells, creating anti-venom. Now the thing about anti-venom is, or at least in the comics, it has tremendous healing powers and quite a few different things that differ from the traditional Venom symbiote. It produces antibodies that can cure any disease and remove any impurities within a human body. So it can, like, he literally goes after Spider-Man and tries to cure him because he sees Spider-Man as impure because of that radioactivity in his blood. But unlike the traditional symbiotes, this one has no mind, right? It's just completely mindless, and Eddie Brock is in full control of his actions, which is something that, you know, Insomniac has taken inspiration from when creating this version, because as you already know, Mr. Negative was highly included in this story, right? And then it all culminates when Miles and Mr. Negative go into Peter's body, when Peter's kind of being taken over by the leftover symbiote in his body, right? They go into his mind, they free him, Mr. Negative uses all of his powers, bada bing, bada boom, and then we have Anti-Venom Spider-Man. Now there is a bit of a meme going on about how, you know, in the first game he had Anti-Ock suit against Doc Ock, and now in this game he's got the Anti-Venom suit to fight, you know, Venom, and, you know, everyone's like, oh, what, in the third game is he gonna have the Anti-Goblin suit, you know? Which, you know, I could kind of see it, but, you know, I can sort of understand why people would think that, but I also, you know, don't at the same time. But we're going to be looking at some thoughts of, you know, what other people had about the suit, and I'm going to be putting my own thoughts on this as well, because first and foremost, when you're talking about the plot things about the suit, and then we're going to be talking about the design and how we could change it, because the design is fine for the most part, but the thing that I don't like about it is how it splits the shoulders there. I think that's weird, right? But then again, it does take after the advanced suit. So, the Sonic Ninja over on Twitter says, something I kind of realized when I thought about why I dislike the concept of Peter becoming anti-venom is that the idea of Peter beating the symbiote by just getting a different good symbiote instead is such a lame solution to get him to overcome that struggle. Now that's understandable in a way, but I'm pretty sure that the main reason why this suit was included was so we don't lose the whole symbiote abilities that we've learned to use throughout the game. But then again, that is kind of understandable, but at the same time, we did see them merging all of the symbiote storylines at once. You know, you have the whole Spider-Man symbiote story where it's being taken over and corrupted, then the emergence of Venom, and then, you know, taking over the entire city and stuff, and people being taken over. And then we've even got, you know, bits and pieces leading into Carnage as well as a DLC, quite possibly. So there's a lot of symbiote stuff that has been happening. Now we'll go on to the next page here. And this is irrelevant, but I gotta say, the advanced suit looks really good with the anti-venom eyes. But let's carry on, right? So this person says, Redacted Spider says, I'm such a big fan of Insomniac giving Peter the anti-venom suit. Like, it makes sense story-wise and gameplay-wise. And that's what I mean. You know, story-wise, it still makes sense. because there were leftover bits and pieces in his blood. Dr. Connors calls him constantly, you know, checking up on him to make sure that he's okay, and then that kind of comes full circle, and he gets the powers to be able to take on Venom. And even then, he's still being ragdolled by Venom. It's not like, you know, he's able to effortlessly take him down. Like Venom, you know, was literally putting up the biggest fight. You know, this wasn't, you know, Peter was really struggling against him in the boss battle and the cutscenes. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like this was like a free pass to beat Venom. Like, there's no way. It was Miles that pretty much took the final like hit of Venom, and then Peter was able to hold him down. So then we get to Reddit, and of course, you know, the subreddit for SpidermanPS4, it's always back and forth with, you know, hating certain things over there. But, you know, this post by Million says, why does the sub seemingly hate the anti-venom suit? I might be wrong, but it feels like a lot of people here dislike it, and I don't understand why. The concept of anti-venom is damn cool, and the fact that Insomniac even put it in the game is insane. It's my favorite symbiote, so I'm a bit biased, so I don't get it. Well, you know, there's a bit there where, you know, he's a bit biased and liking it, but then we're going to get into what people are saying here. So this person without any username says, "Nah, I absolutely love it. Insomniac always wanted to do a different Peter, and this is the way they executed perfectly in the third game. I also love how the lenses are heavily influenced by Todd McFarlane's Spidey. Wish they add these lenses to his own suit." So that'd be pretty cool. A lot of people think here, like Legends of Old says it's possible that he does keep it. The Harry's fate's uncertain without a symbiote. My mom was thinking Harry becomes anti-venom, and I was thinking that too. You know, they could totally just have Peter give that suit over to Harry. Harry gets healed and he's in the right state of mind, but who knows? You know, it's possible that an anti-venom suit's just unintelligent, and Peter does bring this up. He says that, you know, this suit, the voices are gone, but I've still got the power. Like, he says that to Mary Jane, so he certainly controls all aspects of it. So it's almost like he would have to learn how to 100% control this suit to get the most out of it. You know, he's still learning how it works. In the comics, it didn't have a consciousness, it didn't mentally affect its user, although it would also cure Peter of his radiation in case spider powers, so I'm guessing they're going to gloss over that one. And then, you know, Jackson here says if it's fused to his body cells like in the comics, they can just say he doesn't see his powers as sickness, with that bad of a retcon. But we haven't really seen any healing powers. It was just implied the whole story that Mr. Negative's powers affected the symbiote, so they didn't like him, so it could only just be that. Now, this person says, I like it in concept, just not visually. All I can think as I use it is, wow, all of this looks so much cooler in black. I think the white tendril attacks are ugly, not in a cool way. Million says, guess it's personal taste because I really like the white, which is also personal taste. So it just goes back and forth. It's more so about the aesthetic than the story, because in the story it makes sense as to why the suit is the way it is. I do gotta say myself, when the suit was first revealed, a lot of it I was like, wait, it kind of feels ugly, but at the same time it's not. It's just really different. You know, I saw the whole plot twist coming, especially with how, you know, I did keep up with Anti-Venom, and I do like the character in the comics, and even in Edge of Time, Anti-Venom's a cool character, so I know of the origin, and including Mr. Negative in the story, it was obvious that it was going to end up going some sort of way in this, right? Let's carry on. So, you know, this person brings up a pretty big point, and I think a lot of people actually agree with this, is people dislike the idea of Peter keeping it because it's not a typical Spider-Man thing, and we know that Insomniac is now subverting expectations, right? They're subverting expectations actively, because what's the point of repeating the comics, right? The comics we've already read, the movies we've seen, different adaptations are meant to be different, otherwise why would you even play it if you already know what's going to happen? That's the whole fun of subverting expectations. Even when Harry shows up in the story as pretty much Agent Venom, you know, he's got that whole like suit and everything, everyone was like, oh, that's cool, right? And then giving the anti-venom suit to Peter, it also subverts expectations, because you think it'd be someone like Eddie Brock, and again, Venom was Harry, it wasn't Eddie Brock at all. So they've constantly been changing up the formula, and I understand why some people might not like it, but this could be easily a part of this Spider-Man, right? They could easily hide the Anti-Venom suit in his like white spider emblem. Like he could just stay there. It could morph into his regular suit if he learns how to use it. So he doesn't have to look this way all the time, you know, if that's what people have a problem with, or his powers or whatever, right? And Willow says the Anti-Venom reveal was one of the peak moments of the game. Jaw drop, big fan. And it was really cool to see, and being able to have that power and start to really take care of the symbiotes. But the symbiotes in this game, man, they will beat your ass. They will seriously like take you out. Even on spectacular difficulty, they were pretty much like two-shotting me. And on ultimate difficulty, if you're not careful, you get deleted instantly, right? So this suit, you know, does a bit more damage to the symbiotes, but you know, you're still, you know, you have to be very skillful when it comes to dealing with them. And this is, I think, where the culmination of everything is. So Silly Daikon says, I feel like the point of the whole symbiote suit arc across most media in the end is to show that Spider-Man doesn't need the symbiote suit. All he needs is his own conviction and strength and morals to solve his problems, and that's why he lets go of the suit rather than accepting its power. Having Pete here double down on showing that he's weak and powerless without the suit is a weird change. I get gameplay reasons to balance Miles and Pete and all, but I'm no expert in the suit. Stuff looks fine though, not gonna lie. And again, that is true. Peter is more than a symbiote suit, but I think this more applies to the negative things that come with the suit and the whole addiction side of things, right? Because that's how the comics and the movies go. Like even in Spectacular Spider-Man, it's the same story. He gets rid of the suit because he's Spider-Man. He doesn't need this suit to be who he is, right? It's completely changed him as a person. Same thing in Spider-Man 3. He gets rid of it because he realizes he's being changed, and he outsmarts Venom by using, you know, sound to finally defeat it, not to like overpower it in raw strength, because Spider-Man is smart. He uses his intelligence and his powers, right? And this person says, I actually think the suit is the culmination of Peter's actions and beliefs though. And this is a really interesting take that I actually like. I actually think the suit's the well, I almost read the same thing, but he says he believed in the rehabilitation of villains, even though he knew that just arresting them could generate future consequences. We saw in the scene inside of Peter's mind, this is a huge source of frustration for him. Therefore, the symbiote fed this feeling of killing villains and solving problems at once, making him believe that he's a better Spider-Man. Lee is the result of Peter's belief and his desire to make Lee change. Lee himself says that he also changed because of Peter. It's a testament that he is indeed doing the right thing, even if he deep down doubts it. Him sticking to the end with his convictions and morals, even after all the bad things that happened to him, is what granted this power to him. Not only that, but his belief in Miles too, helping him when he lost his father and doing everything he can to make him a better person and Spider-Man. So that is true. All of this came back around and culminated in this power. It is very weird to see a Spider-Man with this power, but at the same time, I think it works, right? I think that it's okay for different adaptations of the character to be different. That's the whole point, right? You don't want every single Spider-Man to be the same character. We want to, because this Peter has been through it all, man. He's been Spider-Man for years. He lost his aunt. He lost so many people around him, and even a lot of his villains, like, have been taken out. He helped reform Tombstone. Like, we save him, and you know, they like shake hands, and it's been really cool to see the little things like that, right? And this person says, Trillmill says, damn good point you made. It's a different story altogether, so the lessons and morals being different too is nice and refreshing, rather than get people wanting the same thing over and over and over until the end of time. I think the reason why people want this is because that's what they're comfortable with. At the end of the day, us as humans, we hate change. It makes us uncomfortable. So us being familiar with Spider-Man as this character that doesn't really get all these extra insane crutches, and he just uses his mind and just his own, you know, powers to save people. Like, I think it's okay for this adaptation to have the Anti-Venom suit, right? But, you know, I don't know what we'll see of the character going forward, because right now at the end of the game he's taking a break. He's leaving it to Miles to look after the city, and I think that's like a cool thing. He finally gets this break that he's been hoping for, this happy ending with Mary Jane. Obviously the world will never be a happy place in that game. She'll come out of retirement at some point, but it's nice for him to be able to get a break after everything he's went through. And yeah, this person also says the original symbiote story is about, and then he like cuts it off. Like, this isn't the original symbiote story. This is a different take. This is Insomniac's take. Now, in terms of the design for the Anti-Venom suit. I'm personally like a bit indifferent to it. Like, I like it, and I think there's a few things that are wrong with it, like the whole shoulder cutout thing here. I like the lenses, I like the emblem, but it could use a bit more, I feel like, on the actual suit, right? So KeeweeArt did a more accurate game redesign of the Anti-Venom suit here, which is pretty cool, right? Like, it's got the whole spiders and then it gets rid of the shoulder cutout. The eyes I'm not the biggest fan of, but I really like everything else, right? And, you know, make sure to follow these people as well. I'll have everything linked. And then of course here we have these amazing like redesigns here as well. So this one I will have it like linked in the description as well and everything like that. But this one here I really like, right? Like, this one here is amazing because it also adds a bit more of black to the suit as well, and then he's got the boots there. It looks nice. It doesn't change too much, right? It just makes it a bit more contrasty, right? It's not just overpowering in one color. And then here there's another version as well where the webbing's kind of more strong, and then this one has like smaller webbing. So I think all in all of these redesigns look good in their own way. And then we also have another thing by KeeweeArt here which I like a lot better, and it's this. So this is more accurate to the comics look for Anti-Venom with the yellow eyes and the face here, but I love the spikes protruding. I kind of wish that stayed, because the suit does look awesome, right? Like, the pose here is awesome, but I do wish that it had more inspiration from the comics. But at the same time, I understand it's more so trying to mimic the advanced suit, right? Like Peter's advanced suit, especially with the cutouts and these bits here as well, and the boots as well, right? That's why there's no bits here or anything like that. So I think this video is long enough as it is, but I think we've gotten the point across that everyone's gonna love or hate this suit, but at the end of the day, I think it's not the end of the world. Just try to look at this suit as a different type of change for this character, because this is Insomniac Spider-Man. He's allowed to be different. You know, the comic Spider-Man's gonna stay the way you want him, even though we really don't like that guy right now. You know, we've got a ton of different amazing versions, like Spider versus, you know, Miles. We've got Spider versus Peter B. Parker that everyone loves. We've got a new Ultimate Spider-Man coming out who is already married and has a family, which is really cool. So there's a lot to look forward to. So I say, hate be damned, this boy is cool and he's allowed to keep this suit. He'll probably end up getting rid of it eventually, you know. He might even lose it in the battle against Carnage. He might just give it to Harry. Like, we don't know, and that's the beauty of things. So it's okay to dislike something, but, you know, no need to really blatantly hate it just because it's different, right? So thank you so much for, you know, watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I seriously appreciate all the support of the channel. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Check out another video here. Peace.